Okay. It's a minor, isn't it? It's a minor technicality. It's a minor. All right. Okay, let's get the live feed. Get that going. Should be able to talk some boxing. Okay. His name was Iran Barkley, but he never ran. Stood up for Tommy Hearns and Roberto Duran. Big up Bruce Gass, boxing, jazz, and more. Guzzy, what's good? What is good, people? And there's a link here. If anyone wants to jump in on this hour, jump in. Do not. Yeah, he suffered a stroke, Bruce. Do not put your camera on, or I'll have to push you out because I don't know what you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? Do not put your camera on. Do not attempt to switch the camera on. You can hit the link and you can talk, but you just can't put the camera on. You know what I mean? So if you want to talk boxing, hit the link and have your say. What's on your mind concerning boxing? I don't want to hear you got problems with your missus. That ain't my business. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear that you can't pay mortgage, rent, your car note, your truck note, because it's not my business. Talking boxing. And we've got an hour to get it in. An hour. We've got Tony, pugilist. What's up, man? Tony.
Hey, how you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty
Okay.
good.
So, in concerns with boxing, Tony, what's on your mind? What is driving you? What do you want to big up? What do you want to get mad about? Let me know.
You know what? I don't think there's any reason to get mad at boxing. Boxing is doing what boxing has been doing for the last 200 years. It does things occasionally that upset you, but there's no need to because we all know we've seen these things before. Let's be totally honest. Boxing's on a high. There's no reason for us to not think that because we've had the Riyadh season come in the last year and a half, and things have come to fruition that we never thought we would see. And then we get word on the street, oh, Dana White's coming into boxing. Oh no, here comes a disaster. Well, why should we think that?
That's what I don't get, right? Like I put a few videos up about it, and the comments are strange. They keep saying, "Oh, I wish I had your faith. You've got so much faith in him." I haven't said I've got like I've said we need more information, and all I've pointed out is he is an American success story, and like these people, like they don't like to deal with what is. Like the UFC is responsible for taking away a lot of the boxing audience. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you know what it is though. I don't think UFC has taken away the global boxing audience.
Global. I'm talking about in America.
in America, let's just make it for what it really is. America has ultimately changed its viewpoint on sport because of the huge money involved in baseball, American football, and basketball. Yeah, other sports have suffered as a result. And well done to Dana White on taking what wasn't a well-seen sport in MMA and driving his entity into what it is today. Well done. But he took what was nothing and drove it into something. He can't do that with boxing. It's already present. It's got its players.
Yeah. I think you make a good point. I think the first point you made is to make the distinction that America is where the UFC has been successful, and like you say, he has driven a combat sport that was literally unheard of globally into something, one of the biggest sporting brands in the world, that you would have to say,
Yeah.
And here's the thing, right? What people are not like they get mad at Dana. What they're not questioning is why hasn't the likes of Lou DiBella, Oscar De La Hoya, or anyone been able to take the reins of American boxing and provide America with a decent promoter? Why haven't they been able to do that? If they had done that, Dana wouldn't have got a sniff.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you look at the the TV rights packages that have been dished out worldwide, and you compare it to America, where every channel is running away from boxing. It's like, well, you're clearly getting it wrong.
Yeah, and like in all the videos, I've been saying, like as Guzzy said it, I'm saying we've got to wait for more information for a start. We've got to wait for more information. And like
based on what Turkey said, I think it's today, about there being there'll still be the titles, there'll still be the promoters. It's clear to me that he's going to be running something from bottom upwards in America primarily. And to me, every time I hear it, it just sounds more and more like you're just going to try and rejig The Contender. You remember the series The Contender?
Okay, yeah, and that wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, I mean, we got some good boxers out of The Contender. Jake, what's his name? The Snake, Bundridge,
Sakio Bika won one of them.
Sakio Bika, did well.
Yeah.
But if you take that concept and you expand it and you make it big, then no problem. I ain't got an issue with it. But let's be honest, it ain't gonna compete with top end boxing.
I wouldn't have thought so. And like, is he gonna promote Crawford versus Canelo?
I don't think he's ready for it. And again, if I listen in between the lines of what Turkey said, and there's also been an interview with Dana White over the weekend, I don't think he's ready for it. He was asked directly if he would be involved, and his words were, "We don't know." But I think you can say, if I know I'm doing that, I know I'm doing that. I don't think he's doing that. I don't think he's equipped to.
Yeah.
We're talking about taking two of the biggest names in the sport, and you're going to be in control of the finance where you've never ever dealt with people's finance in that way. Nah, sorry, don't. It can't run. I don't see Canelo saying, "Oh, let Dana White be in control of my finances." No, sorry, give me old anybody else, but because he don't pay people like that. He don't understand how we negotiate contracts over here on this side of the street.
Yeah, but it's not his money now. So whatever he was doing with the wages and how he was paying and how he was financing the cards, it's going to be different. It won't be the same because
and that's the problem, though, isn't it? The problem is he doesn't know how to do it a different way. He's not acclimatized to that boxing way of negotiating. He's doing a completely different thing. So what value does he bring to the table by saying, let me negotiate something which I have no experience in being able to do, when my expertise is how to bring people to a table and get the largest slice of the pie?
I don't know. See, the thing is, yeah, with the UFC, he had sole control of the finances or whatnot. But in this venture here, you got Tom Loeffler in there, you got Turkey, you've got TKO Holdings, and he's kind of like the face. He's kind of like going to be fronting the thing more than um, actually making a lot of executive decisions. That's what I believe. You know.
Yeah. And that again is counterproductive to the art of boxing, because boxing is about the boxers. It always has been. And now we've got a guy who wants it to be about him, when we all very well know the promoter isn't the guy, it's the boxer. The promoter has a job to do, and he can be all charming, like Eddie Hearn is probably the most charming promoter we've ever had. But let's be honest, he ain't nothing without his boxers, and he knows his boxers take the limelight.
Yeah, well, you know, it's all up for grabs, man. Let's see what they do. Let's see what, like, when more information comes to, you know what I mean, the public and the media, whatever the media tell us, then we'll go from there. But right now, I all I can say is, like, what he done in UFC is incredible. He turned over incredible profits, and if I don't mention that, then I'm lying. Then I'll be lying. I have to mention, even though people, you see what it is when you just read someone's resume and it's quite impressive. People think, "Oh, you're bigging them up. Don't say all that," but it is what it is.
No, you have to give him props. He's he's done an absolutely amazing job in developing that brand. It's amazing. I mean, it's interesting. People keep talking about the slap league, and I can't say anything about the slap league because I don't know anything about it. But it clearly isn't, to me, doing anything remotely close to what UFC was doing.
What, the power slap thing, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, the power slap thing is crazy, isn't it? That's just some madness, isn't it? It's madness. Yeah. So did you watch any of the fights weekend?
Yeah, pretty much watched everything, to be honest. I mean, if I go through them, there's a kid that was on the Ball versus the Haney bill who knocked his opponent out in the second round. Fraser.
Any good?
He's wild as hell, but he's exciting because I think he's had 10 fights, eight first round knockouts. He looks like how can I put this? He don't look like anybody. He's himself, but he's just so wild. He just has there's no boxing form to the way he boxes. You know, if you were to say, look at this specific element of his boxing game, whether it be the way he moves his head or the hooks or the uppercut, nah, you couldn't say anything was good. The head's all over the place. It's just like a scrap, but he hits hard. And he's down at he's at like flyweight, I think, or bantamweight, but he hits hard, and obviously 8 first round knockouts and then two second round knockouts. You know, the kids, you know, he's causing a storm up in Liverpool because that's where he's from. Obviously, that card was very heavy Liverpool focused. So that was my first sort of thought on.
You're saying basically he's a little raw. He's a little raw.
A little raw is an understatement, but exciting nonetheless. So if you haven't seen it, go have a look at that kid, Fraser.
Fraser.
The Charlie Edwards Kane fight was possibly the worst fight I have ever seen, and that says something.
Did you watch the whole fight?
I did, unfortunately. I literally was like, oh my God. this is awful. And you know, it's horrible because you know I live, you know, I lived in Surrey for quite a while. My gym where I train is in Purley, and so one of my local heroes is Sonny Edwards, and Sonny's been down my gym, and you know, look, I got a lot of respect for Charlie and Sonny, but that I saw on Saturday. That was awful on the part of Charlie Edwards. And, you know, he's a kid that I thought, you know what, he's got good boxing skills. He's technically, fundamentally very good as a boxer. Obviously, you know, a highly decorated amateur, had a very good amateur career. And, you know, that's where you get your fundamentals from. But what he did on Saturday was awful. It really was awful.
So how did he
And
get a split decision out of it if it was that bad?
yeah, I mean, it baffled
How
the
did he
hell out
get
of
a
me
split
because
decision? Like,
even the even Carl Frampton was doing his scorecard on TV, and he called it a draw. He had it 114 draw, and I'm like, what the hell are you seeing that gives Charlie Edwards any part of that fight? But having said that, you know, Kane didn't look great, but he just kept like chasing
yeah,
Charlie all night long, and occasionally just hitting him, and then, you know, Charlie would just keep running and keep running and keep running, and you know, there were rounds where I'm going, this is ridiculous. You know, if this was in the amateurs, you know, the referee's telling Charlie Edwards, stop running. You know, you have to engage. You cannot just keep running around the
yeah.
ring.
So what about the main event?
Main event now. I've heard a few people saying Nick Ball should have got disqualified for the kick. I just think it's handbags. I mean, let's be honest. If Mike Tyson doesn't get disqualified for the first bite of the year on Evander Holyfield, then you can't be calling a disqualification for what was to me a kick up the bum. Yeah. So, you know, people going, oh, but he kicked him, and no, he didn't kick him. Let's be honest. If you call that a kick, and the way Dehaney went down and tried to make a big deal out of that, it was shameful. It was absolutely shameful, because there's no way he kicked him with anywhere near enough force that he had to go down.
It was stupid what he did, though.
Of course it was. But you know what? I've seen so many worse things in the boxing ring, headbutts and elbows and you name it, low shots, where you're not getting that kind of notoriety. So ultimately it's a nothing. It's it's handbags, because ultimately there's a reason you got to kick up the bum, because you held the guy's head for 10 seconds.
Should have took a point, though. They should have took a point.
If you're taking a point off for the kick, you take a point off for the head holding. So it's negated. So I understand why the referee just didn't bother in the end, because ultimately, if you have to take a point off both boxers, there's no point in taking a point off either.
So
because there's no way you go and take a point off for the kick and then you go, oh, but I'm gonna ignore the fact that.
That is fair enough. Actually. That is fair
Yeah.
enough. Do you think Dehaney was worthy of a title shot?
Hell to the no.
Was Dehaney worthy of a title?
Hell to the no.
He wasn't.
But he's, what we're seeing is fodder. They're trying to do let's compare Nick Ball to Naoya Inoue, but he was not even, someone that should have been in that ring. But having said that, he gave his best. He looked decent in the early rounds, but we kind of knew he was going to fade, and we knew, once Nick got into his rhythm, that it was going to be a different picture, and that's what happened. But no, he definitely did deserve that. And let's be honest, Nick Ball has had his soft touches now. It's now time for him to start saying, well, if you want to talk about Inoue, well, let's talk about Fulton and all the other champions at your weight.
You got Leo, was his name something Leo? He'd be a very good fight for Nick. He'd be very
Nick
good.
Ball.
Fulton. and I forgot who the other guys were, but there's definitely some good unifications, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
So
that's the way you'd like to see him go, unification, no more soft ups.
absolutely, because to me, you don't call out Inui. Inui's a 4-weight champion with a undisputed at the end of it, which he is still. You ain't qualified to call out Inui. You haven't got that roster or that resume, sorry, to be able to call out Inui and say, I'm the guy. No, you haven't got that. You're not ready. You know, your
I reckon
resume.
the weakest out of the four champions could be Rafael Espinoza. I think they should go for Espinoza, that
Yeah,
WBO belt.
yeah.
You know
You
what I
have
mean?
to do some. You have to do at
Yeah,
least one or two unifications so you can say, I'm the daddy at my weight. Come see me. I'm the
I
daddy.
agree. I agree. Yeah. Did you see any of the? What about Keith Thurman versus Brock Jarvis? Did you see that?
No, I saw the knockout, destructive, but I have no interest in the fight. Um, I
Yeah.
still have no, I let Keith Thurman get 2 more fights in, and then I might suddenly take interest. But right now, I've got no interest in Keith Thurman. Um, I did watch along with Danny from Fight Fan TV for the Kenshiro Taraji fight
All right.
Wednesday morning. That was hellacious. That was one of the fights of the year already.
Okay.
But
I haven't seen it, so give me an outline of what happened. And
so Taraji is the WBA champion. Akui was the WBO champion. So it was a unification bout. And to say Akui came out with some ambition is an understatement, because he came out on smoke
right,
and gave Taraji all kind of hell early rounds. Then Taraji has a couple of rounds where he gets back in, and then it's back to Akui. And to be honest, it's a great fight. The action is just going back and forth. It swings and roundabouts. It's one way, then it's the next way. There are rounds where it's kind of split, and you kind of, you could go with one or you could go with the other
right.
until what round did we get to? So um I think it I think I had it 5-5 at round 11, at round 10. Yeah, at the end of round 10, going into 11, I had it 5-5. Round
Okay.
11, I scored it a swing round, so I said I'm giving that an even round. So that left the last round. Whereas I think Daddy had it at the time 7-4. So he had a need for Taraji to get a knockout. Come out in the 12th round. Taraji comes out on fire. He is absolutely pummeling Akui from pillar to post in the 12th round. But
Right.
Akui is just tight. He's got his defense up. He's taking shots. He is getting rocked, but he seems like he's got total control of his game in terms of knowing where he's at and how hard he's being hit, and he's got control without being, he's losing the round, but I'm not in
Right.
trouble.
Yeah.
Then for some reason, he kind of showboats by dropping his hands to his waist and just moving his head, rotating his shoulders. And it looks like he's just using the head movement to slip punches. But in doing so, he's receiving punches with his hands down.
Right.
And for the most outrageous reason ever, the referee steps in and stops the fight.
Oh wow. In the 12th.
Now, Akui has received, has taken shots for 12 rounds. He has taken the best of what Taraji's got to offer. Why are you
Right.
stopping the fight in the 12th round when the man hasn't touched down? It's a unification fight. He doesn't look like he's in any way in trouble. His legs are
And
not
this is
doing,
very close, though.
it's crazy.
Very close on the scorecards as well. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
he
Akui
was
was
up in
winning on
serious
Tuesday.
scorecards.
Yeah, Akui is winning the fight. It's
Right.
literally to me, it's like Meldrick Taylor versus Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. in their
Yeah.
first fight, where
Yeah.
Meldrick is beating Chavez, and then 10 seconds before the end of the fight, Richard Steele steps in and stops the fight, and everyone's like, "What?"
Mm.
And when the stoppage happens, I'm just like, "What? How are you stopping this fight?"
That's crazy.
It's
That's
an
crazy.
absolute travesty, and I think in my eyes, Akui was very prematurely stopped.
Why would they stop that then like that then? That's crazy.
Well, if
Like,
Taraji's the house favorite, then
yeah, because he was down on two of the scorecards, Kinshiro to Taraji, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
it's
I'm gonna have
but
to go
as a
find it.
spectacle of a fight, it's a brilliant fight to watch because they
Yeah.
both went hammer and tongs, and it's all action for all 12 rounds.
Wow. Sounds like a really good fight, man. I have to go catch it up. You know what I mean?
Please do, please do.
Yeah. Did you catch any of the card in Florida?
Yes, I did. Yeah, lots of good stuff. So first and foremost, the debutant on the zone on Matchroom, Amari
Amari.
Jones. Wow, that's what I got to say. Wow, I'm excited about this kid. I remember seeing him at the Olympics and thinking to myself, this looks special. And yeah, I mean, I was at the Olympics for the boxing, and I'm very much a guy, who, having come through amateur code myself, takes a very big interest when I see really outstanding amateurs, and looks like they got another one in Amari Jones. So yeah, that was impressive. He just looks really tidy. He's definitely got power in both hands, and look, the speed, the punch accuracy, the IQ, the footwork, it's just there. It's just like, yeah, this is nice. So we're definitely going to be watching more of him in the future.
You know what it is, Tony, yeah? Like, I was infused like you, but I think people thought I was going over the top. He looked really good to me. He looked
Yeah,
excellent.
yeah. No, if you
It's
couldn't
early,
see that,
obviously it's early days, but he looked really good to me. I thought, like,
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
you know? Yeah, he looked class. He looked like sheer class. Hand speed, man. And timing.
Yeah, that's my thing. I mean, if I see hand speed, it always excites me because I tell
Yeah.
fighters all the time, man, if you can get that hand speed, then it you know what I mean? That's
It's a
the one
seller,
thing I
isn't it? It's a
maintain.
seller. It's a seller. It's a good seller.
Yeah,
Good hand speed combination. It's a good seller. It's a good
yeah,
seller.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, I'm a sucker
yeah,
for
that's
good
that
hand
one.
speed. You know what I mean? Like you mentioned Mildred Taylor. You know what I mean? That's
Oh
like Mildred
yeah.
had
I
them
mean,
fast hands.
yeah, I mean his hand speed was phenomenal.
Yeah,
Then we
he's a blur.
go, where do we go? Belanga.
Ammo, Belanga.
Amma
That
Williams
was a
against Volny.
disgrace.
Wow. I mean,
Let's do the Belanga one. We go to Ammo next. Let's do
all right.
Belanga.
So
That fight was a
Belanga, I
disgrace.
mean, that guy he was fighting was what 10 years in jail?
Yeah, 10 years in jail.
So what we talking about?
He started at
Uh,
what? He started at
a
welterweight.
blown up super welterweight.
He started at
You
full
know,
welterweight.
that guy
Yeah,
was clearly not a super middleweight. He was so far from super middleweight. It's unbelievable.
yeah.
You know,
I mean, he come
I'm in
down to
better shape than him, and
312.
I'm in my 50s. So you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It just beggars belief how Belanga ends up in a ring with a guy in that shape.
Wow. Yeah,
But he did what he has to do, and we move on. The less, I don't think there's much to say about that.
Yeah, there's not really
The
much to
standard
say
of
about it,
opposition
but
was awful.
I'm just shocked at how the commissions can let people like that fight for their belts. It was for a belt as well. Like
Yeah,
it's a disgrace, man. But like you say, the less said, the better on that one. So what
yeah.
about you know what I thought was a good? I thought the headliner was a really good fight. Volny versus Williams.
Yeah, I did enjoy that. And I'm a big fan of Amo Williams. Didn't know too much about Volny. I think I've seen him previously in one fight, but yeah, wasn't sure how this one was gonna go. But it was an entertaining fight, and Volny contributed very heavily to the way that the fight went. He was very heavy-handed in certain points. He had good movement. He was very good with his jab. He used his length to good effect at points. And obviously, it looked like Amo was having just trouble with Volny's length. But
Yeah.
He got the job done.
You know what it was, Tony, yeah? You know what it was? It's that high guard he had as well. It's very hard to penetrate.
That's right. Yeah.
And what it was, Amo didn't know how to come around the sides of it with his shots.
Yeah, yeah. I just thought he needed to go to the body more often. Instead of aiming at that guy's head, you are naturally the shorter guy, and therefore the body's going to be easier to hit. Go do it. Take a leaf out of a Mike McCallum fight and just body. Just go body all the way. When you break him down to the body, then the head will become open.
Yeah, I thought it was about a draw. I thought the fight was even.
Okay. I thought Amo just about pipped it, but it was, as I said, a very good fight, and Volny played his part very well.
Yeah.
To make it an interesting fight.
Wow, man. Yeah. So some good fights, man. Some good fights. Have I missed anything? No, I don't think I have. So what fights are you looking forward to, Tony?
You missed out Jermaine Ortiz.
I did. I saw the highlights of that. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't much to write home about, in all truth.
No, it wasn't, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, Jermaine came, back on the world title hunt, so to speak, trying to get back into the title reckoning. Interesting, he kind of labored a bit with his opponent. I thought he was gonna take him out, but yeah, just labored a bit.
Yeah. He didn't look sharp to me, man. Didn't look that sharp.
Yeah,
but he done what he had to do. He got the W. I think we've got George Kambosos this week. I mean, we've got George Kambosos.
Can't say I'm that interested in that one at all. Yeah. I mean,
neither am I. If I'm getting this on, I'll browse for it, but nothing really there for me. Nothing really there. Yeah, man. I'm just trying to think of some topics like
well, you got Ben Eubank situation. That's obviously been the big talking point of the week.
Fighter of the year, British fighter of the year, Danny Dubois. Dubois, British fighter of the year, British boxing board.
Yeah, I can't be mad at it. I mean, he's had a good year.
British fighter of the year.
Who else could possibly take that title from him?
Very good.
He's had a good year. I mean, he took on three of the best heavyweights in, 3 top 10 heavyweights, and come through them with glowing colors, So I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all.
Who would you like to see, like, Usyk fight next? Do you think Parker should just get a shot, or should we get the Dubois Usyk too?
Because I want to see something different, I personally would like to see Parker get a shot, because I'm not for let's see another iteration of the same title again. You've had two guys have had, hog the limelight, or three guys if you go back through the AJ 2 fights, and then Dubois for him to get a second bite of the cherry. I'm just like, nah, let's stop doing this. Let's get someone else in this, in the mix. So I'm quite keen, and I think Joseph Parker deserves it. If I'm being honest, I think he's done way more than was expected to be in the ring with Usyk. I mean, you know, I see the Fatal Fury undercard still includes a Bacoli versus F.A. Jagba. So, you know, look, the fact that Parker has been through who he's been in the last 12 months just says to me, look, give this guy all his plaudits and let him get his title shot.
So Parker's is that dude. So
Yeah.
what you're saying? Coley's going to be on the undercard of Eubank and Ben.
No, he's going to be on the Bacoli versus a Jagba is on the undercard of Canelo versus Skull.
Oh, I thought Fatal Fury was Eubank Ben, isn't it?
No. Who are you talking about? Akoli or Bacoli?
No, you said Bacoli.
Bacoli, yeah, not Akoli.
Not O'Coley, Bacoli.
Yeah.
I thought Fatal Fury was Eubank versus Ben. That's what I was led to believe.
Yeah, no, that's on the Canelo Skull, which is, I think, May 3rd.
May 3rd, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's an interesting card that came out today. Obviously, Canelo, Badou Jack is back in the ring.
Tony, I want to ask you something.
Go on.
Have you seen William Skull fight?
No.
Okay, so because I was wondering, are they overlooking him? Like they're just looking at it like it's a total formality. I expect Canelo to win, but I don't think they should just overlook him like that.
No, I mean he's unbeaten, isn't it? So, you know, he clearly knows how to win. And when you've got that unbeaten record, then, you know, you always have the confidence that, you know what, I've seen everything, but, you know, he obviously hasn't seen a Canelo, so we'll see how he deals with that.
Do y'all take into consideration the fact that
man, your mic is on the fritz, rude boy. That mic is on the fritz.
Let me try to fix it
again. No, yeah, you gotta fix that, man. Try to fix that, and then we'll be appreciative of your input. But yeah, William Skull is a chip like Canelo. No, not at all.
Really?
No. I don't know what it is. It's not audible. I saw William Skull against the Russian where he won the title. And I think in the early rounds, he's going to give Canelo a lot of issues. Now, when Canelo starts getting to the body and asserting himself, then it will likely get too hot for Skull. But I think early, it could be similar to Lara versus Canelo. You know what I mean? It could be similar to that. And it just depends on how long Skull, because listen, Skull is taller than Lara and he's bigger, right? If you look at him to Canelo, there's a big size difference, man. And yeah. I think he's gonna have issues with the boxing unless he catches Skull early and takes him out. He's gonna have issues with that boxing.
And let's be honest, Canelo doesn't hit as hard as he used to do. He doesn't, you know, I don't know, when was the last time he had a stoppage? It's just, he's not that guy anymore.
Yeah. He hasn't had a stoppage for ages, come to think of it. You know?
I'm saying Canelo not that guy anymore.
But I don't know. What's up with your mic, man? What's up with your mic?
Sorry, man.
I don't know what it is. You got yeah. Maybe if you come back in, it might work better. Like, do you think Crawford is making a mistake by not having a tune-up?
I would say yes, because I'd hate to be that long out of the ring before facing someone as big and as well crafted in terms of boxing IQ as Canelo Alvarez, I definitely want to have something in the bank where I could say, you know what, at least I know I'm still, feeling what it's like to be under the lights with the music and all that kind of stuff going on. But to go in from so far out without having, experienced that feeling of, this is what it's like when you're up against this scenario, then yeah, no, I don't think that's wise at all.
Do you think he should have took on a decent 168-pounder just to acclimate himself to what it's like?
I mean, it's really weird, because we're in an age of boxing where you can't have a light tune-up, whereas back in the day, yeah, people used to just go to Mexico and just have a couple of behind closed door fights and just say, look, I'm having this guy, and just beat the hell out of him for a couple of rounds just to keep yourself in tune. I tell you who does that. Anthony Yard. He's very good at just going, you know what, just feed me some fodder for just so I can get my, ring rust off. He's so good at it, getting that fodder. And that's what Crawford needs. He just needs some fodder.
I tell you what, man, Leon's opposition is like. What do you think of the Lyndon Arthur fight? I don't think, to be honest, it's one of his better fights. The rematch. We've seen it already. We've seen it twice already, but it's actually one of his better fights. What do you think of it? The rematch.
I'm really not sure. I mean, to be honest, I think it's all down to what version of Lyndon Arthur turns up, because we know what you're going to get with Anthony Yard. He's a gym rat. He's just constantly in the gym. It's the fodder that kills me. I don't know, you've never seen a situation, apart from when he loses, where you go, can he do something different? Can he show us something different? Otherwise, it's just the same thing all the time. And it normally is good enough, but at elite level, you need to show something different.
Did you see his last fight?
Yeah.
It didn't look good, did it? It didn't look good.
It didn't. And he can just go like looking the same round after round after round. I'm not going to come out and do anything different. Other than, in those good rounds he had against Beterbiev and Kovalev, those were the only times when I've gone, he's shown me something different. But other than that, every fight for me just looks the same, round after round after round. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. It's going to be at my pace. It's going to be, my intensity. And if you just can't keep up, then you're going to get knocked out or stopped. And, that's the way it is with Anthony Yard. He's a decent fighter. I like him. But I just don't find him a huge attraction. I know some fanboys are really high on him and they're like, oh yeah, he's this and he's that. And he, this whole thing was, I made Beterbiev have his hardest fight ever. I'm like, really?
You know what, my brethren, and he's old, a lot older than me. You know what he said? He says, I don't know, the way you took, he can't box. Can't you see? He can't box. That's what and he just won't have it. I'm trying to talk to him. He's not bad. No. He can't box. No one's taught him how to box. I say, wow. And he my brother, he used to be an amateur boxer himself. He's just not having it. He's just not having it.
Yeah, I think that's a bit harsh to say he can't box. I think he can clearly box, but as he got.
At what level though? At what level? Who's he beat? Really, like Lyndon?
Yeah, no, that's what it boils down to. I mean, what is his level? We can say people can box, but can they box at the elite level? Are they the type of fighter that you think, well, you know what? Can you show us that you can fight and beat all the fighters in your weight category and then go up a weight and test yourself at another weight and see? That's ultimately the the making of a great champion. And that's interesting point, because I've kind of looked at Bivol and Bataviev and thought, much though I enjoy both of them, they both haven't really got that that resume where you go, did you test yourself at another weight? Did you go any other weight and go, let me see how I can get on against an opponent who's way bigger than me? Where everybody else on the world scene, who right now is, you know, pound for pound, they've gone up and down weights and have tested themselves. I think it's just the two light heavyweights and Bam Rodriguez who have ever competed at just one weight.
Yeah, but in saying that, like heavyweights don't go on to win multiple weight titles, and like guys
No,
like
but the
Hagler,
point is the one
not gonna
heavyweight
get
who's a top, the one heavyweight who's a top 10 pound for pound fighter is a guy who's
okay,
gone
yeah,
in multiple weights.
yeah. But
You
in
see what I'm
saying that,
saying?
Marvin Hagler had 12 defenses of the middleweight title. He never moved up and down.
And to be honest, right, anyone will tell you I am one of the biggest marvelous Marvin Hagler fans, but I wish he had gone up and tested himself, because he let everybody come up to him, and that actually is a slight on Marvin Hagler, unfortunately.
No. It's not. It's not actually. It's not. Because before he became a champion, he fought on the Philly circuit. So he's fighting punchers like Cyclone Hart. He's fighting master boxers, Willie the Worm Monroe, right?
Yeah.
So he done his stint. Remember, he didn't get a title shot until about his 50th. Was it 50th fight or something like that?
Yeah.
Or was it 40th? It could have been 40th, yeah, or something like that. Yeah. So and like he fought bona fide middles, man.
Yeah, no, and obviously,
fought, like,
you know, there was a
he-
plethora of really great middleweights at the time, and he was
Benny
clearly.
Briscoe. He fought Benny.
That's right.
Benny
Yeah.
Briscoe on the Spectrum. Yeah, on that Philly circuit, man.
Yeah.
Spectrum and Blue Horizon, because like obviously everyone knows I'm a big Hagler fan. Oh, he fought bona fide middles.
Yeah.
Bona fide. You know what I mean?
But again, you know, when you look at the Fantastic Four of that era, you know, you go, well, look, Duran came from lightweight after 10 years at the king of lightweights all the way up to that weight to challenge Hagler. And then you got Sugar Ray, again, 6 different divisions? Hearns, 6 different divisions. So it's like, you know what? As much as I know your love of Hagler, I know it. I've listened to you more than enough times. I love Hagler. Let me not say this anymore. I absolutely love Hagler. Anybody who knows me knows 2 of my favorite jerseys are Hagler jerseys with his name, and you know, I've got this beautiful top that I only wear on special occasions, got Marvin Hagler King on the front. But I have to say, he should have fought in other divisions to really have cemented his legacy as being one of the greatest of all times.
Okay. Because back in the day, they used to talk about a potential Michael Spinks fight, but it never materialized. So
yeah,
I guess people could look at it as a potential red flag, but you know, yeah. He never moved up. He just stayed at mid. See, but I actually attribute that to his discipline.
Yeah, I mean, he never had trouble
making.
He never had trouble making middleweight. And to be honest, you're right. He didn't have a need to go up. But you know, when you look at the landscape of the world boxing scene at the time, and you're seeing Durand coming up from lightweight to challenge at welterweight, then moving up to light middle, and then finally getting a shot at Hagler at middle, and then you're looking at Hearns moving up from welterweight through light middle up to middle and causing one of the most devastating fights of all time against Hagler for as long as it lasted. And then, of course, the immortal
So Tommy went up to like to 175. Tommy went to 175.
Absolutely. So it's like
Beat
you're
Mercury
looking at
Hill.
an era where, I still compare those guys and what they did to some guys that today. And when people say to me, oh yeah, well, boxing today, he would have, no, they wouldn't have. The fighters of the 80s would have absolutely smashed the fighters of today's era, in my estimation.
Yeah,
90s
they
fighters,
would.
those guys were built different. There was a different era of boxing, and I'm a boxer that boxed in the 80s, so I know firsthand. I boxed on amateur shows with Nigel Benn. I know what I was seeing firsthand when I was coming up through the ranks, and thought to myself, "This is my game," but there's a level to which there are people in this game, and I'm blessed to see a lot. I went to a lot of those fights in back in the day. Nigel Benz versus Eubank, and Watson against Eubank, and
when you talk about people like, if you was to put Harold Graham in with any of the middleweight champions right now, he'd just make them look stupid. He'd make them look stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just make them look like amateurs. He'd just play with them.
Absolutely.
Literally play with them. You know what I mean? Sparring session with them. You know what I mean? Just different levels, man. Like, I agree, man. I think that, like, old school boxers are just on a different level, man. Like, if you were to put, like, Pernell Whitaker in with Tank Davis, what would happen? He'd look stupid.
Oh, mate.
Would look stupid.
Yeah.
Tank would look stupid. He'd look silly in there.
Yeah.
He'd be crossing his feet, stumbling all over the place. He'd just look like an amateur, like a rank amateur. You know what I mean? Even Whitaker's a master boxer. If you used to put him in one of them hard sluggers from that, you couldn't beat Lamont Roach, man. And Lamont Roach is a good fighter, though. Lamont Roach is good.
Yeah. Definitely.
You know what I mean? Yeah. What did you think of that fight, actually?
Yeah, I mean, I personally thought Tank just about nicked it, but I could see how you could see it the other way. Obviously, the knockdown would have made a difference on several people's score sheet if it had been marked as a knockdown, which it should have done. So, yeah, I'm not mad at the result. I think.
So you think Tank nicked it, yeah?
I think Tank nicked it. But the knockdown probably does get it as a draw.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought Roach fought well, but I didn't think it was like, oh, he got robbed because he won so much more significant rounds. When it comes down to, okay, how many rounds did he win? Yeah, he gets the knockdown, but he didn't win more rounds than Tank, in my estimation.
Okay. I had Roach winning handily, but I guess, I had him winning handily, to be honest with you. Tank ran about the ring. He didn't really do much to me.
He wasn't it wasn't one of his best, and he normally he takes a little while to work you out, and then he just steps on the gas and it's all over after that. But on this occasion, he wasn't able to find that rhythm, and I've no idea why it was, whether it was just the pressure of the occasion or what. But yeah, it wasn't quite himself.
It's catching up to him. Like, when he could have fought Lomachenko, he didn't fight him. He didn't fight Shakur, Devin, or none of them. And now it's catching up to him. Like, his lack of fighting premium lightweights is catching up to him now. And he's 30, and he thought he knew it all. And now it's catching up to him. And, like, they're just going to be queuing up for him right now. They're queuing up for him. They realize if Tank can't intimidate them, they can get to him, man. They can get to him. So it'd be interesting to see how his career pans out after that fight there. I thought I thought he got exposed a little, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the problem is, where does he want to go next? Because you can see that he's very disenchanted with the game. It's almost as if, why am I doing this? And the fact that he's already admitted that he doesn't want to box after this year kind of goes, well, you do the rematch against Roach, and then what's after that, and then it's all over. So I'm not really sure if a guy who's already checked out mentally can actually go out and do the business and look impressive. If this is kind of it for me.
Yeah, man. Okay, Munguia Sarase is going to be added to Canelo and Skull. That's the guy.
Yeah, that's on there.
Munguia. Yeah. Okay, and yeah, like you say, Bacolia Jagba has been added to the card, and they've got Badu Jack versus Rasiki. That's for one of the cruiserweight. Is that cruiserweight? One of the cruiserweights?
No, Bridgerweight.
Yeah.
Bridgerweight.
Oh yeah, Bridgerweight. Actually, yeah, that's right. Is he a Bridgerweight champion then, Badu Jack?
Yes, he is. Yeah, because he ain't fought in 2 years, and that last title was a Bridgerweight title, wasn't it?
Isn't he the WBC champion? Didn't he take Bacoli's brother's belt? What's his name again, man? What's his name? I forgot his name. Yeah, he's cruiserweight champion, Tony.
Oh, okay.
WBC cruiserweight champion. He beat. Yeah. What's his name again, man? Makabu. Yeah, he beat Makabu for the belt.
Oh yeah, Ilunga Makabu. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to ask you about a couple more fighters before we get out. British fighters. What do you think of Joshua Buatsi? His performance and his career so far?
Oh man, you're asking the wrong person, man. I'm invested in Josh Buatsi. I've loved him since he was an amateur.
Are you a friend of this? Are you a friend?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Right. I'm not going to ask you then. I'm not going to ask you.
But I can be honest. Look, I'm kind of disappointed that Josh hasn't got to where I thought he would get to. When everyone was saying, or when there was talk about, Josh Buatsi is, the new version of Evander Holyfield. Technically, he's very sound. He's got a bit of edge about him. But look, I'm disappointed that he hasn't really shown out. He's won some of his fights. I thought the Craig Richards specifically, I thought that was just a win. And then obviously, he's got shown. He's got his defeat to Smith. So I'm disappointed
Did you expect Callum to outbox him, with so much clean punches?
I didn't. I wasn't taking it for granted that Josh would win, but I did think, maybe down the stretch he might close the show. I did expect Callum to be difficult because of the length, but I thought Josh would work it out, and then, as I said, down the stretch, that is, is picking the shots, and if he turns on the aggression, that he might be able to get Callum out of there. But congratulations to Callum. I thought, look, that's maybe just shown us what we needed to see for Josh, and he's probably going to struggle to.
Do you think Virgil Hunter is the right trainer?
I don't, if I'm being honest. I don't think he's the guy. I don't think he shows enough urgency with the way he works. I don't think he promotes sufficient of his offense. You know, as a defensive minded coach, you know, I like Virgil. Obviously, he's had his successes with Andre Ward, but I don't think he suits Josh Boatsi's styles in being able to get the best out of Boatsi. And I think it's very important that you mention the coach, because, you know, like AJ, you know, you can see clearly that different coaches that he's worked with have been able to get different results. I think we've seen, recently with, Craig Richards going back to um,
Sims.
Sims, yeah, that he looks much better under Sims than he did when he went to McGuigan.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. What about? I wanted to ask about Lawrence Akoli and his weight. Like, how do you put on 60 pounds from when was the Chris Billion Smith? 2023, midway through 2023. How does he put on 60 pounds?
I
Do
really
you think it's
don't
too
get
much?
what Akoli is thinking, because obviously, I grew up watching a cruiserweight develop into one of the best heavyweights in Evander Holyfield, and looked at,
Right.
the way he put on the weight. And to me, what Akoli has done just has no strategy in terms of, I'm going to develop myself into the weight. You know
Right.
what
Right. Right.
what you don't just go out and eat yourself into a weight. You have to do it with the right strategy, and make sure you put on the muscle where it needs to be put on, and ensure that you maintain your fluidity and movement, etc. So I'm not at all um understanding of what the hell he's done and why he's done it, because it makes no sense.
No cruiserweight champion has came in 60 pounds heavier than the cruiserweight range. None. Holyfield, Usyk, Hay, Cunningham. You could go through all the major players, right, at
Yeah,
cruiser. None of them have jumped up 60 pounds. None of them. And okay,
yeah,
he might have a bigger bone structure than most of them, which he probably does, but it's still an excessive amount of weight.
yeah.
You know.
And it's he wasn't like, he was a big cruiserweight, but I didn't think he was that big. I think Chris Billiam Smith was a bigger cruiserweight, in terms of bone density. And
Yeah.
definitely, to me, Richard Riakporhe was a bigger cruiserweight. Um, so it's very strange. It's very strange.
Yeah. Crazy. It's a crazy one for me. You know what I mean? Definitely a crazy one. But yeah, man. Um, so what 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 fights are you looking forward to next? I've already asked you that, but I'm
So
trying to
for
think.
me, I mean,
Let me ask you something, Tony. Actually, are you interested in Ben Eubank or not?
I have to be. I have to be. I have to be. It's gonna come to a point, isn't it? I'm just intrigued as to whether they will actually step in the ring. I still think there's a lot of jeopardy before they get to that point of them both being in the ring at the same time.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Who you got
But
winning?
if it happens, I've got Eubanks winning, because I think Ben is so emotional behind what he's saying, and his approach to this fight, that he's going to blow himself out 4 or 5 rounds trying to get the knockout, and then Eubanks, to me, closes the show later on, just sitting and just waiting. I don't think Ben has the boxing credentials to be able to move around and outbox Chris in a late battle.
Chris has got to tie him up, man, early.
Yeah. You got to spoil him for that first
You
6
got to
rounds.
tie him up.
You know what he's
Yeah,
coming to do.
Yeah, because Connor is going to be, because he doesn't have to make the weight, and like he's got a very fast right hand. He's got, like, Chris has got to play very careful, I think, early, and then like use his natural weight advantage to kind of wear Connor down. You know, yeah, it's an interest. I think a lot of people are like, I'm going with you, like with Eubank, but I think a lot of people are underselling Connor.
Yeah, I mean, again, look at Connor's last fight. You know, not here in the UK, and all of a sudden, where's all that power gone? You know, if you're that big a hitter, then where was it in your last fight? And that was against who?
Point. Tony, what's his name? Yeah. The kid from the Bronx. I can't remember. That's a good point. It's a good point. Liam Smith said something interesting when he said Conor don't hit harder than him. Nah, he does. He definitely hits harder than Liam. I think he hits harder than Liam. He might not be as good a fighter as Liam, but he does. Like Liam. I don't know. Liam's not a big puncher. You saw what he done to Eubank. If Eubank ain't living the life and he gets caught early at 35, he can go. I think if he boxes a smart fight, ties Conor up, but like
I honestly think
him.
that Chris Eubank Jr. lives the life. I've seen him out in Vegas. I know what he's doing. I've seen him in between fights. He's a gym rat. So this is one thing I would never ever think, like, oh, he's not going to be ready for a fight, because he lives the life.
Okay.
You might see him in a club and that, but he's drinking water all night. He ain't getting into trouble. You know, he's living the life. You know, I've no.
They say that he's on the poker table a lot though.
Yeah, but that doesn't impinge on your, your training, your regime of, how you work. That's like any boxer who's staying at home and just playing computer games.
All right. But then again, they say he got rid of his dad, so he don't have to push himself like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, what his dad brings is different, and obviously he's still got Ronnie in the corner. So there is still an element of his dad, even if his dad isn't there. Because Ronnie's the voice of Chris, let's be honest.
I'm not sure if Jonathan Banks do you think Jonathan Banks is the right guy? Could be.
I don't think this is one of them where you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Chris is, and he does what he does, and we've seen enough of it over the years. He isn't next gen boxing. He's old guard that is still there doing what he done. And he's going to be hard. He's got a strong jab. He's got a very strong jab. And he puts his punches together well. So I don't expect to see anything new. I don't think any trainer's going to make him box better, but just make sure he's in the right state of mind. He's doing his fundamentals. He's got good quality sparring on the way up, and you know what you'll get.
You say no trainer. You're saying no trainer can make him box better. He boxed pretty well with Volny against.
I don't know why. I don't actually put anything into that victory, because Bomac came in like lastminute.com. How much is he learning from Bomac in such a short period of time?
Okay, that's fair enough. Actually, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I don't make anything of that at all.
What do you think of Joe Joyce, Filip Bogovic.
It's a pick'em for me. It's a clash of two guys possibly going in the wrong direction, and one is obviously going to get some upside out of it. I don't know who wins that fight. I like it
I
because
know
of
who
that.
wins it. I know who wins.
Who are you
I
going
know.
for?
I'm going for Bogovic, man.
Seriously?
He's gonna piece up Joyce badly.
Oh wow. Wow.
He can't
Wow.
miss him. He can't miss him. He cannot miss Joe. Listen.
Yeah, but
He's so
Hergovic,
accurate.
can
He was very
Hergovic
accurate
keep,
against Daniel.
but
And he's
can
gonna be accurate
Hergovic,
against Joe.
but can Hergovic keep the work rate with Joe? Because that's what Joe needs to come back to. You know,
Won't need that much, Tony, man. Won't need that much. Much, man. Like
yeah.
Joe's declined.
I understand that. I get that.
Couple of bad rounds, first 1 and 2, and then go downhill from there.
Yeah. I get you. I hear you.
They should listen. They've made bad decisions for the first bad decision was the first Zhang fight, and okay, they didn't know how good Zhang was, but to go into an immediate rematch, suicide, and to replace Dillian with no. Remember the last we saw of Hergovic, right? He was out boxing Daniel for a long period in that fight, right? And Daniel was too strong, and he was improved. He was improved.
Yeah.
Too strong.
Hergovic was touching him up nicely, wasn't he?
Yeah. If Hergovic goes to his boxing, Joe's in serious trouble, man. You know what I mean? Joe's declined bad. Like his right hand was always telegraphed, but now when he's like really not confident, you can read that right hand like a book and time Joe and light him up. Seriously.
I can see that. I can see that. I mean, I'm not sure if it goes that way. I don't know if Joe's got something left, if he's able to. Again, I kind of have a little bit of investment in Joe because he was a boxer based in Banfield, not far from where I used to live, and so again, close to my own gym. He knows a lot of my boys. And generally just one of the nicest guys out there. If you've ever met Joe, he's just a nice guy. And as a result, you kind of go, come on, Joe. You know what I mean? I got more invested in Joe than I have in Filip Hergovic. So I'm hoping Joe can find something. But it's going to be interesting. I can understand your argument totally.
Yeah, I don't like it, man. I don't like the fight for him. I would never have took that opponent for him. Dillian, because Dillian is in decline. Dillian is in serious decline.
Yeah.
Right? He's inactive. Like, he looked horrible against Tete last time out.
He did. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But,
so
with Joe, I think, look, this is a make or break fight, If he comes through it, then all of a sudden, people start saying, oh, well, he's back again. Let's start moving him into contender status again by, matching him up against somebody else out there. And heavyweight boxing right now has got a plethora of really good fighters that you can match him up against.
Yeah, they're staying in the comment section. Beauty of the pants of bad management. Big up Anthony Mack, and he said if Hergovic comes in motivating and lacking cardio, then he might lose on points. I tell you what, his cardio against Daniel was shocking. It was he's got a good chin, Hergovic, though.
Yeah, he does.
He has a pretty good chin, but his cardio was actually like just terrible, dreadful. Yeah. All right. Any last things you want to bring up before we get out of here?
Well, interestingly, since you mentioned it earlier in the call, while I've been talking to you, I've actually been watching William Skull, and yeah, he is quite good, isn't he?
He's not bad. He's got some
I do.
skills,
He
man.
doesn't look that big, though. You know, when you mentioned his dimensions, he doesn't look that big. I mean, the fight I'm watching is versus Sredenko,
Yeah, yeah,
and he's boxing beautifully. He's catching him some beautiful shots on the retreat. He has got that typical Cuban style about him.
yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But he doesn't physically look that big to me. I think how much taller is he than Canelo?
He looked a lot taller. He's about 5'11", but he looked a lot taller than Canelo. He looked so much
Okay.
taller. You know what I mean?
It
But
could be interesting because
illusion.
when
Yeah,
you say he's
early, he's going to give him issues with the boxing skills, I believe.
yeah.
But Canelo should get to him and get him out of there. But
Yeah,
you
I
never
mean,
know.
he's got good head movement. You know, he doesn't move his feet a lot. You know, he just
Yeah,
tend to sort of plod and stand in front of his opponent, thinking, well, I can move around shots, and he's picking great shots. You know, whereas, you know, you look at someone like a Bivol who's got really good footwork and is in and out and moves around his opponent, creating different
yeah,
angles. You know, Skull is, you know, very much, I'm going to be in front of you. I'm going to, you know, slip and counter, catch and counter, and do all that kind of stuff, which he's good at.
yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think he can do that for too long with Canelo in front of him. So it's going to be interesting.
Oh yeah, I believe so. It'd be definitely interesting. You know what I mean? All
Mm.
right, Anthony. Tony, I should say. Big up, man. Appreciate
Appreciate
chopping
you,
it up with
bruv.
you.
Keep doing the good stuff, bro. Appreciate everything you do.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Big yourself up, bro.
Take care, guys.
Peace. Yeah, man. Peace to everyone in the chat. Thumbs it up on the way up. Peace.